are going to work on twists, and we're going to offer some modifications to maybe add on to for tomorrow's practice. So tomorrow we might have some deeper twists, or maybe even some arm balances, possibly side crow and Ekapada Vinyasa. And so today we're going to work up to that so that it'll be a little bit hopefully easier, more accessible to everybody. And tomorrow we can add on if we want, but we don't have to. So all the things that we do in today's practice, we can do tomorrow as well, or we can add on if we're feeling up to the task. So let's go ahead and get started. Just go ahead and make yourself comfortable, get into a space that maybe you can stay focused for this next hour. It's Saturday, so probably a lot of us are with our friends and family, or rather family. And so anything that you'd like to grab now, you can grab any props, so blocks or blankets. Our playlist for today is on my Spotify account, and it's Liz Scott, L-Y-Z Scott, and the playlist is April. So if you have another device that you can listen to music on, you can go ahead and push play on that. And let's get started. So we're gonna get started just seated. Find a comfortable, easy seat, and just start to close the eyes and just take your natural breath, or maybe a breath with a little more intention, just whatever is there for you this morning. If it doesn't feel right to close the eyes, you can just soften the gaze, maybe looking down in front of your mat or in front of your body as well. And then take one hand onto your heart and one hand onto your belly, and now start to deepen the breath. So as you inhale, feel the belly expand into the hand. And as you exhale, feel the hand come closer in towards the spine. Now continue this movement, exaggerating your breath. So deepest, fullest breaths of your day, maybe even of your week so far. Three more like this, really big, full inhales. And really full exhales. Last two. You can start to open the eyes and just notice where you've been putting your attention this last week and where it would do the most service and good for you. So if that's wherever you've been putting it, then keep it there. But if there's somewhere else that could be more productive, bring more joy and peace to your life, where would that be? Putting your attention on what facet of your life? And then, or even on our practice today, bringing your full attention onto your mat so that you could really connect mind, body, and spirit into your practice, so that when we get off our mats, that we feel more complete, a little bit more joy, a little bit more at ease as well. So working into our first twist here from our seated posture. Inhale, reach the hands up overhead. Exhale, right hand comes down behind you, left arm crosses the body. So the hand can come to a prop here behind, or it can even hover if we can't find the ground yet. If you'd like more, you can extend it out behind you. Bring the hand behind, the head, and then extend with the elbow, opening up as deep as you can into this twist. One more breath. Inhale, sweep the hands up, neutral overhead. Exhale, left hand reaches behind, right arm reaches across the body. So stay here with the hand grounded. We can flow, extending it behind, or hand comes behind the head, and then draw that elbow behind you. Last breath. Inhale, sweep the hands up overhead. One more time each side. Exhale, right hand behind, left arm across. Lead with the shoulder or the elbow. Maybe the gaze starts to come over that right shoulder. Inhale, sweep up overhead. Exhale, second side. One more. Inhale, reach back up towards the sky. Bring the palms together. Squeeze the palms into each other. Feel this engagement. And then let the left hand come down by the hip. Reaching that right arm up and over. Deep side bend stretch. Lots of energy into the fingers. The gaze can be neutral, can be up towards the sky or down towards the ground. Inhale brings you back through center. Exhale, straight over to the second side. Right hand grounds, left arm reaches. With the left arm reaching, don't let the hip lift away from the ground. Keep driving it down towards the mat so that we find as much length through the intercostal muscles, the muscles between the ribs, all the way up to the pinky finger, down into the hip flexors. One more breath. Good, back through center. I'm just gonna turn to face y'all one more time. Flashlights to warm up the wrists as well as the forearms. Extend the arms out in front of you, shoulders high. Start to flick your fingers like you ran out of paper towels, which is a very real possibility these days. Keeping the elbows straight, the movement just comes from the wrists. Now, with the idea of actively drawing the hands, we want the fingers to be really active instead of very slow and passive. We want them to be really dry, so move them as fast as you can. Now reach the hands up overhead, soften through the shoulders, long spine, active core even here in our seated posture. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Goal pose, cactusing of the arms. Good, yes, we're all feeling it. Something so simple becomes so challenging. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Interlace the fingers and roll out the wrists. Switching directions. And making a worm or a snake-like movement. In whichever direction you're going, go in the opposite direction. Great job. Marichi's pose. Extend the left leg out in front of you. Plant the right foot close towards the groin so that the knee is facing up towards the sky. Bring both shoulders on the inside edge of that right knee. Reaching that right hand especially forward as much as you can, still tucking the knee into the shoulder blade. Turn that right hand face down so the thumb is facing down towards the mat. And then sweep it behind so that the fingernail side is in contact with the thigh possibly. Now keep both hips grounded. And if you'd like to go for the bind, then the left arm reaches behind the back. See if the hands can find each other or one hand wraps around the wrist. Don't lift that right glute away from the ground. Keep it connected down to the mat. If you'd like more, start to dive deeper with the chest coming into a deeper fold. Last breath. And release, coming up to seated. Keep that right foot grounded, twisting here. Marichi's 2, right hand comes behind. Left elbow hooks the knee is our first option. Left elbow and tricep come to the outside edge of the knee, fingers facing towards the sky. And I'll actually just keep it here for today. So still staying long through the spine so that the crown is stacked above the sacrum. And with each exhale, again, we're twisting as deep as we can. Release. Second side, right leg extends out in front of us. Plant that left foot in towards the groin. Shift both shoulders inside the knee. Extend out forward. Thumb faces down with the left hand and then sweep it behind. So we can just stay here wherever we have it, or take the right hand, see if it can find the left fingers or fingers and wrist. Stay here or take it a little deeper, bringing that chest towards that right thigh. Make sure you're still breathing though. Release. Coming upright, Marichi's too. So both variations are available. Elbow to knee, hooking it, or outside elbow and tricep, pushing onto the knee as the knee pushes back onto the elbow as well. Last breath. And release. Coming down onto the back, so we'll do some core exercises here. Maybe I will take this off for this. Coming down onto the back, and pull the knees away from the ground up in towards the chest. Cactus the arms, so make them like goalposts out to the side. Now, two options. One is as we drop the knees over to the right and to the left side of the mat, we hover them. The other option is to stay as I continue to hover and just let the knees drop to one side and then to the second side. So two options for you. So first option would be to bring them over towards the right. Don't let them drop down, let them hover, and then back through center and over to the left, letting them hover using the obliques to pull you back. Or you can just let them come down and stay in a twist here. So we'll do 10 more, both sides. 10. So both sides. So we'll count down in pairs. 9. 8. The other option, if you'd like more, is to extend the legs straight. 7. 6. 5. So that's halfway. So if you just dropped your knees over to the right, go ahead and bring them over to that second side as we continue. 4. 3. 2. Last one. To the right and to the left. Now if you drop the knees, go ahead, everyone bring them back to center. Bicycles, right leg extends straight. Left knee comes in towards the chest, hands behind the head. Right elbow to tap the left knee and bring it across. Left leg goes long. We're going to do 30. That's 28, 27, 26, 25. Each time you tuck up, see if you can really bring the elbow as far to the outside edge of the knee as possible. I think we're probably about 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, halfway. You got it. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Head down, releasing the hands. Bring the palms to the tops of the kneecaps. Go ahead and push the knees away from the body, making big circles, breathing into the hips, breathing into the abdominals, breathing into the obliques. Good morning. Opposite direction if you're going away. Go ahead and bring them in towards the chest now. Again, where can you bring your attention to benefit you the most? Last time. Good. Knees in towards each other. Grab the backs of the legs as we use some momentum to rock ourselves up to boat. And we're going to take boat toe taps. We'll do 20. So the hands can stay grabbing behind the legs, or we can extend them out overhead. Tap the right toes down and left, right, and left. 16, 15, smile. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Boat pose. Heart opens and plant the feet, crossing at the ankles all the way up to standing, where we'll come to our standing flow here. Good morning. So everything I say is an idea or suggestion. You can do what feels right, and you can leave off anything that doesn't. So coming to the top of the mat, feet hips width distance apart. Inhale, reach the hands up overhead. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Let the chest soften to the thighs, and you can bend the knees. Anytime you come into a fold, you can bend the knees. Inhale, find length, slide the fingertips up to the shins, flat back, crown to sacrum extension. Exhale, rebend the knees, plant the hands, and step back into plank. I had some requests for side plank, so we're gonna go there now. Dropping the heels over to the right, left hand reaches up towards the sky, and to modify, we can take that left foot and place it down in the center of our body so that we can push down into both feet, and this helps to displace the weight here. So here's one variation of our modified side plank. You can take this every time as well. Working into those obliques and twists, we can stay, or 10 times. Inhale, left hand lifts. Exhale, reach it behind. Twisting into those obliques and twist out everything you can. 8 more with a smile. You have these strong, healthy bodies. You are doing a great job. You're here today. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Re-reach, and left hand comes down to meet the right, stepping back into plank. Second side, heels drop over to the left. Right hand reaches up towards the sky. To modify, take that right foot, plant it down into the mat, push down into the feet to lift the hips. Stay or add on those reaches. Inhale, extend. Exhale, behind. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Back up to the ceiling, feet step back, plank. Again, I'm going to modify some of these poses. So let the knees come down. 5 times Chaturanga Push-Ups. Lowering down halfway, shoulders in alignment with the elbows, elbows squeezing into the side body, and push back up. 4, 3, 2, last one, all the way down to the mat. Inhale, heart opens in cobra, tops of the feet to the mat, still squeezing those triceps towards each other. Exhale, reverse through tabletop. And then downward facing dog. Feet hips width distance apart or wider if we're really tight. Pushing down through the finger pads and the knuckles. And the wrists are parallel to the short edges of the mat. Making sure we're not jumping into the shoulders, but pushing everything up and away. So very active. Sending all the length down into the heels. And we're working towards one day starting to bring the heels closer down to the ground. Last 2 breaths. Looking forward to the hands, and we'll step the feet all the way to the top. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up to standing, palms come together overhead. And Tadasana, mountain pose, hands next to the sides. One more like that. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, let the chest drop, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step the feet back, plank. Now we're going to take a second side plank. So dropping the heels over to the right, we can modify by bringing that left foot down in front again. Inhale, left hand reaches. Exhale, sweep it over. Good, 10 like that. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, this is our last side plank, and 1, back up, overhead, left hand comes down to meet the right, step back into plank, second side, heels drop to the left, right hand reaches, right foot plants. Stay or add on the extended stretch. Exhale, we reach overhead, inhale, stack. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stacking like a T, right hand tags next to the left, step it back, knees can always lower. Option to take those 5 Chaturanga Push-Ups again. This is our only time where I'll cue for it. At any time in your practice, you can always add on these if you'd like a little extra. Last 2. Final 1. And release the chest down, open up, squeeze the scapula together, tops of the feet. Exhale, reverse tabletop into our downward facing dog. Now, downward facing dog can also be substituted with the child's pose, letting the knees and shins, tops of the feet come down to the mat, and letting the forehead descend down towards the ground. If our forehead doesn't come in contact with the ground yet, go ahead and reach for a pillow or a blanket or even a sweatshirt. Bundle it up and let the head come onto that. And if the hips are still higher, not allowing for that settling yet, same thing, you can place any props underneath the glutes or underneath the shins as well. Taking 2 more breaths in child's pose or downward facing dog. We're in our child's pose, coming back into our downward facing dog. Heels drop down towards the mat, looking forward to the thumbs and stepping the feet all the way to the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the hands up overhead, palms come together, and then down by the side. Standing here, feeling that energy into the body. Hopefully we're moving some things around. Maybe our breaths become a little bit more vigorous, but still allow for the deep flowing of the inhales as well as the exhales. Inhale, sweep the hands up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees to plant the hands, stepping the feet to the back of the mat. This time we're just going straight through. From our Palakasana, halfway, Chaturanga. Inhale, Bhujangasana, Cobra. Exhale, back into that down dog. From our downward facing dog, inhale, right leg extends to the sky, hips stay neutral, lead with the heel. So it's not about how high we can get, it's about the length that we're able to find from the sole of the foot all the way into the hands. From our 3-legged dog, scorpion dog, now we open and stack the hips. Bring that right heel to the left glute. Keep the shoulders squared back towards the feet as they were in our downward facing dog. Lift that right knee up towards the sky and back into our 3-legged dog. Right foot steps between the hands, runner's lunge. Back heel is lifted. Left hand stays grounded as our right hand extends up towards the sky. coming into this twist. Now keep pulling that right shoulder behind you and see if you can pull the belly away from the leg. Now push down through the soles of the feet, find your drist, your point of focus, and use the core to bring you up into this twist. This twisted high lunge, right hand reaching behind, left hand reaching forward, gaze is over to the right. Stay here or reverse. Right hand comes down gently onto the left leg as the left arm reaches up and over behind. Breathing. Back into that twisted high lunge. Right knee is stacked over the ankle. Good. Crescent. Hands come together, or rather overhead. Back heel still stays lifted. Hands together to prayer. Left foot joins the right at the top of the mat. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Lengthen the spine. Now in our neutral chair, usually our knees are side by side. But we're going to twist and we still want our knees to be side by side. If our knees are side by side, then our hips are as well. So from our chair twisting, you can just stay upright and twist over towards the right. Or you can hook that left tricep and elbow on the outside edge of the right knee, pushing your prayer hands, palms together, lifting the belly away from the ground. Can you sit it down a little bit more? Make sure you're still breathing. Make sure those knees are side by side. Back to neutral, and all the way together, standing overhead, the hands reach. Palms come in front of the sternum, bowing the chin down towards the chest. One more time like that. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, half flat back. And exhale, bend the knees, plank, Palakasana, lowering them or keeping them lifted, coming down halfway, Chaturanga, heart opens, Cobra, and then making your way, downward facing dog. Second side, left heel reaches towards the sky. Internal rotation of the left thigh. Toes are flexed, pointing down towards the mat, pushing that ground away. Open and stack the hips, scorpion dog, maintaining that neutral of the right and left shoulder, leading that left knee higher towards the sky. One more breath. Back into our three-legged dog. Left foot steps between the hands, runner's lunge. Right hand remains, we can stay on our fingertips. You can also grab something to bring the ground higher, or the palm can stay on the ground. As we reach that left arm, open up towards the sky. Pull the belly, the navel in towards the spine. Make sure you're still breathing. Now find a point of focus. Stabilize through your feet, lifting through the arches, and stack the shoulders over the hips. So rise on up, left arm reaching back, right arm reaching forward. Deep bend in that left knee, stacked over the ankle. Stay or reverse, left hand lightly comes onto the right leg, right arm reaches up and over. Back into that twisted high lunge. Right fingers out in front, left fingers back. Crescent, hands reach overhead, shoulders width distance. Palms come together, prayer, Anjali. Right foot steps forward to meet the left, coming into your chair. Sitting down nice and low. Staying here and just simply turning over towards the left, but keeping the knees side by side, or hooking the right elbow outside edge of the left knee, pushing the palms in towards each other. See if you could twist a little deeper. Last breath. Returning to neutral, and all the way up to standing. Palms come together overhead and in front of the heart space. Lowering the chin down towards the chest and being proud of yourself for arriving on your mat today, for moving your body, for giving it your all. And we're going to do that flow one more time. So what modifications can you make to better fill your cup? So do you need to modify down and then you would have more joy and peace and ease? Or do you really need to challenge yourself and maybe try to push yourself outside your comfort zone? So asking yourself, what can I do within my own practice, between my four corners of my own mat, not what somebody else is doing, but would best serve me today? And then do that. So one more time. Inhale, reach the hands up overhead, reaching through the fingertips, grounding down through the feet. Exhale, chest to thighs, forward fold. Inhale, half flat back. Exhale, taking that vinyasa, feet step back. Keep the knees lifted or lower. Halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right heel lifts. And then scorpion dog, open and stack the hips. Trying to stack the right hip over the left, dropping down through that left heel. Back into our extended dog. Pulling that right knee in towards the nose to step that right foot through, runner's lunge. Left palm or fingertips stay grounded as the right hand reaches up overhead. Stacking right hand over left, making sure we're not dumping down, but reaching. Now use that reach to lead with the right hand, slowly rising up into that twisted high lunge. Reverse, right hand lightly places on the left leg, left arm reaches up and over. Back into that twisted high lunge. Crescent, hands reach up overhead, biceps next to the ears. Prayer, left foot steps to meet the right chair, Utkatasana. Hips descend down. Twisted chair, twisting over towards the right side of the mat. If you'd like, you could keep pushing the palms in towards each other or extend the arms open. Right hand reaches towards the sky, left hand reaches down. Back to neutral, and all the way up to standing. One more time. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, take that vinyasa. Plank, chaturanga, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left heel reaches towards the sky. Looking for the length from the sole of the foot all the way through to the left palm. Open and stack, heel crosses, driving over towards the right glute. Pull that left knee up high to the sky. Back to neutral, extended dog. Left knee travels in towards the nose, at the back, plant the foot. Right hand stays grounded, left hand reaches. Keep pulling that belly away from the leg. Make sure that that left knee is stacked above the ankle before we rise. When you feel stable, twisting up. Left hand reaches behind, right hand forward. Option for reverse, left hand to right leg, right arm up and over. Back into that twisted high lunge. And crescent, high lunge. Anjali Mudra. Mudra is a hand gesture. Right foot to meet the left, chair. Twisted chair. Again, we can just stay high, or we can tuck elbow to the outside. Make sure every time the knees are side by side. Option to keep the palms together or outstretch. Palms come back together if we opened. Back to center. This time drop the head, forward fold. Heel toe the feet out nice and wide. Bend the knees if you'd like. And then extend the hands behind the back, interlacing fingers. And then extend the hands away from the spine, opening up across the chest. Again, the knees can bend, or we can work towards straight legs. We can also squeeze the palms towards each other and close that space as we reach the hands towards the top of the mat. One more breath. Release the hands down to the mat. Inhale, half flat back and stay here. The hands can be on the shins so that we have the length in the spine. Feel how active the core should be. The hands can also be on the outside edges of the legs. So either shins, outside edges of the legs. Actually, that's the only options I'm going to give you for today. I'm really active here. Feel that stretch along that posterior chain of the legs and the hamstrings, maybe even down into the calves. Active through your feet, gripping down into the mat. And exhale, bend the knees, let the head drop down towards the ground, forward fold. Heel toe the feet back to hips width distance apart. Slowly, one vertebrae at a time, rise up to standing. The head will come up very last. Oh, here's back in my mouth. Inhale, reach the hands up towards the sky. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, hands plant, stepping back into plank. And from our plank, we can take that Vinyasa, or we can all just come into our downward facing dog where we'll all meet together in one moment. So I'll give you the time to take another Vinyasa, or just simply lift the hips towards the sky, drop the heels down, find your breath. Gazes back towards the shins. Pigeon pose. Inhale, right heel sweeps up towards the sky. Exhale, bend the knee. Take the right knee to the outside edge of the mat and sweep the ankle towards the left wrist. This is our pigeon pose. We can tuck the left toes under, lifting the knee, and then scoot it back more if we'd like. If there's a gap between the right thigh or glute, and it's really large, go ahead and grab that same pillow or blanket that you used and stuff it under so that the hips can remain neutral instead of just dropping down towards the ground. Right foot is flexed to protect both the ankle as well as the knee. And if there's ever any pain in our yoga poses, then go ahead and come out of them. You can always ask me any questions that you might have, but there should never be pain. If there's strength or fatigue, or maybe even a shaking from like core work, that's all okay, but pain, like a sharp, searing, hot, something that you can point to, then that's something we want to avoid. So a lot of people carry around knee injuries, and so in this pigeon pose, if a knee injury is something that you have and there's pain there, then we maybe want to do a reclined figure 4 on our back instead of being in this variation. So otherwise, go ahead and stay upright, or we can start to drop the chest down towards the ground, staying here, or extend the hands off towards the top left side of the mat while letting your armpit soften down. Last breath. If we lower down, start to rise back up onto the hands, bringing them back together to center. Tucking the left toes under, lifting the knee, extending that right leg back up towards the sky. And scorpion dog. Now take that right knee, make big circles 3 times, coming forward. 1, 2, and 3. And 3 times going away from the body, behind. 1, 2, and 3. Right foot comes down to meet the left. Left leg extends on the inhale. Exhale, pigeon. Left knee, left wrist. Sweep the ankle towards the right wrist. Now lift that right knee and then lower it back. You can keep scooting back more if you'd like, or if you have that space and you're feeling as though you should drop off to the side, take something and put it between that gap to keep your hips neutral, facing the top of the mat. Stay here with the hands on a block or a prop or on the mat, or we can start to come down maybe onto our forearms, maybe onto the chest, or the variation that I'm offering up today as well is reaching towards the top right corner of the mat and then lowering the chest and the forehead down towards the ground while keeping that right foot flexed and active. 10 breaths we hold this pigeon pose. We let the chest come down, start to rise back up onto the hands, bringing back through center. And now, if you have a prop, go ahead and move it. Once it's moved out of the way, we'll drop off to the left side, sweeping that right leg out in front of us. Now both feet are in front of us, bridge pose. Bring the feet underneath the knees, planted, hips width distance apart. And then from our bridge pose, we'll push our hands down into the ground next to the hips, pushing down through the palms as well as the soles of the feet. We'll lift the hips up towards the sky, pushing the shoulders down into the mat, keeping the neck long, and lift the hips as high as you can without letting the knees go out towards the side. Keep the knees right over the ankles. We can stay here, or we can reach the hands underneath the back so that the palms reach towards each other, interlacing the fingers. If we go for that variation, push down into the pinky side edge of that hand clasp, as well as the shoulder blades, and keep lifting the hips up high to the sky. Breathing all the while. 2 more breaths. Last one. Release that interlace, letting the shoulders come down and 1 vertebrae at a time, all the way back down to the mat. You can do a second round of bridge like that first one, or come into our wheel pose, Urdhva Dhanurasana. So 2 options, either repeat what we just did, or take your hands, flip them reverse so that the fingers are facing towards the feet and the palms are grounded right outside the ears. Push down into the feet, lift the hips, come to the top of the head, and then make any adjustments here. Make sure that the knees are still tracking over the ankles. Don't let your elbows go out to the side, and then push the heart up towards the sky. We want to have a spine that resembles a rainbow instead of a V. And then try and bring your armpits so that they're stacked over your wrists. Two more breaths. Last one. Now to come out, slowly bend into the elbows. now we get the best pose of all, Shavasana. So taking up space, lying flat on your mat, letting the feet drop down towards the ground, letting the fingers release. Maybe a space between the ribs and the arms, between the thighs. And just letting go of any tension, any worries. Don't worry, they'll be there for you if you choose at the end of the practice. So for these next 5 minutes or so, just allow yourself to be here as a silent observer to your thoughts without navigating or directing where they're going. Just being. can always stay in your Shavasana longer. However, I'm going to close out this practice with you guys. So reaching your hands in the opposite direction of the feet, hands overhead, feet nice and long. Taking a lot of space as you do this, feeling that energy move from the fingertips down to the toes. And then rolling on to the right side, coming into the fetal position, bringing the knees in towards the chest, resting the head onto the arm. Pausing here and maybe setting an intention or an affirmation for yourself before you get off your mat today. And when you're ready, pushing down into that left hand to lift the torso away from the ground. Coming together in our seated posture. Sitting up nice and tall, letting the knees be heavy down towards the ground. And we'll close out this practice by inhale, reaching the hands up overhead. Gaze follows, palms come together. Thumbs down to the forehead. You are beautiful. Down to your lips. You are kind. Into your heart. You are loved. Thank you so much for sharing this practice with me today. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I will be doing a similar class, but with more variations tomorrow at 9:30 live on Instagram. I will also be uploading this video, fingers crossed if it worked, to YouTube so that you can take it again. So tomorrow, Sunday, 9:30, and I've also linked the YouTube videos to my website to make them more accessible. So that's LizScott.com. So I hope to see you guys tomorrow. I hope you have a wonderful day. Namaste. Thanks, guys.